pretended to have amnesia for 2 months to see who I could really trust, and it exposed everyone I loved as a fraud. It started when I slipped on ice outside our house and hit my head. The doctor said I had a minor concussion with possible temporary memory issues, but my memories came back after 48 hours. The thing is, I was so curious about how people would act if they thought I couldn't remember the last 10 years that I decided to keep pretending. The first red flag came from my husband Arthur. While I was supposedly struggling to remember our life together, he kept steering me away from certain topics. He showed me photos of our wedding and our daughter, but quickly hid his phone whenever it buzzed. He said his weekend work trips were just starting and I probably wouldn't remember them anyway. I played along perfectly. I stared blankly when people mentioned specific memories and asked basic questions about my own life. What I discovered over the next 2 months made me realize I'd been living with strangers. My mother was the quickest to show her true colors. She arrived at the hospital with bank statements to help jog my memory and immediately suggested adding her name to our accounts temporarily. When I was pretending to sleep, I overheard her on the phone with my brother Jonah. She doesn't remember the passwords or where they keep the important documents. This is our chance to finally get what we deserve. That money Dad left was supposed to be split 3 ways. I checked our accounts on my phone later. She'd been stealing from us for 3 years. Every time I traveled for work, she transferred $2,000 or $3,000. The withdrawals matched Jonah's rehab stints and her casino rewards card history. My best friend Vivian was playing a longer game. She visited every day with my work laptop, offering to handle my presentations and meetings. She told me not to worry about the big promotion interview next week because she'd already talked to our boss about extending my medical leave. What she didn't know was that I could still access our shared server. I found emails where she'd been forwarding my project ideas to herself for months. She'd scheduled meetings during my lunch breaks and told colleagues I'd been showing signs of mental strain. She'd even submitted my innovative marketing strategy under her name. But nothing prepared me for what my daughter let slip during a visit. "Are we going to see the other kids this Thursday like always?" she asked innocently. Arthur went pale and quickly said she was confused. But I knew Emily never lied. I pretended to need rest and later followed Arthur on his supposed grocery run. He drove 40 minutes to a suburban house where a woman greeted him with a kiss. 2 children ran out calling him daddy. They were 4 and 7 years old. This wasn't an affair. This was his first family. I hired a private investigator that night using a credit card Arthur didn't know about. The truth was devastating. He'd never divorced his first wife. Our marriage wasn't even legal. He'd been living a double life for our entire relationship. All our assets were in his name only. He'd changed his life insurance beneficiary to his first wife last year. The worst part was learning my mother knew everything. She'd been helping him hide money in exchange for a cut. They were planning to claim I was mentally unstable after my accident. I spent the next 3 weeks gathering evidence and recording conversations. Vivian bragged to her boyfriend about how she'd finally get my job. Mom and Jonah planned which furniture they'd take from my house. Arthur told his first wife I was just a crazy ex who wouldn't leave him alone. The recovery party was their idea. They wanted to celebrate my progress at our favorite restaurant. I agreed and suggested we invite everyone important to us, including extended family and work colleagues. I stood up to give a speech about gratitude and pulled out my phone. "I want to thank everyone who showed me exactly who they are," I said, and started projecting evidence onto the restaurant's TV screens. First came Mom's banking theft with screenshots of every illegal transfer. Then Vivian's corporate espionage, including security footage of her using my access codes. Finally, Arthur's bigamy documentation and photos of his secret family. My memory came back after 2 days. I've been watching all of you reveal yourselves for 2 months. The room erupted. Arthur tried to run, but I'd invited his first wife who had no idea about me. She thought I was a stalker he'd complained about. Mom got arrested that night for fraud. Vivian was fired and blacklisted from our industry. Arthur faced bigamy charges. I kept the house and got full custody of Emily. His first wife and I became unlikely allies in court. Sometimes you need to forget everything to remember who deserves to remember you.